This is Paola Guthrie from Creating Purpose with Paola, and I welcome you to the Spanglish World Network and H.E.R Network on Zingo TV channels 250 and 251. Please remember to download the Zingo TV app on the respective app stores. You can find Zingo TV in Google Chromecast, Amazon Fire, Fire TV Stick, Roku Stick, and all smart TVs from 2016 and forward. Hello, everyone. Thank you all for being here today, for joining us, because today we have a very special guest, someone I really, really admire. She is Yayoi Komiyama. She is a transformational coach. She is a brain health trainer and also a neuroencoding specialist. And I welcome you and thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you, Paola.
All the way from New York.
Yes, from New York. I know, live from New York. Anyway, so
Yeah.
yes, thank you for having me tonight. It's been a while since I think I saw you last, and yeah, it's a lot of catching up to do, and I am very thrilled to be here today. Thank you.
You're so welcome. It's just a blessing to have you here today. And please, let's explain our beautiful audience tonight what is brain to belly, because I keep hearing her talk about brain to belly, and she says she's creating some content and working on this new project, and it's called Brain to Belly. So please educate us.
Yes, yes, yes. Well, it's my baby right now, the Brain to Belly. Um, First of all, I just launched a new Facebook group called Brain to Belly, and it's a group of people. It's for people that want to change their relationship with food, because I know myself that I had issues with food where the relationship was very lopsided. So food was controlling me a lot more than I was controlling it, or it wasn't equal, let's say. So it was kind of like, we have bad relationships with people, we have good relationships with people. So it was like that. And I like to say that it's kind of like having that bad relationship with that bad boyfriend or the bad girlfriend that kind of like strings you along and isn't really committed, but it's lopsided, so we don't want that, and we want to find peace within our heart with the food. And it's Brain to Belly is a group where we can talk about that, where people that have issues can talk freely, feel safe about talking about it without judgment, and we can also share our wins and our challenges with aligning our brain and our belly, because thought is what causes us to take action, to feel things, and then that causes us to take action. And as my mentor always says, Joseph McClendon says, think, feel, do, and then have. So, your brain, your feelings, and then the action you take. So
In
it's really about that.
And
Yes.
so you're telling me that some people have a bad relationship with food. You're saying sometimes food leads people instead of people leading to what they are going
Yes.
to eat through the day.
Yes. And also, it's also about education, the brain, because we need to educate ourselves on what foods are better for our brain and for our body. Because, the belly is also said to be a second brain in our bodies. And it's really about having everything be in order. And your brain is like the CPU of a computer, right? And you want that to be thinking and processing properly, because and the food you put in could be like the information or the software that you put in, right? If you think of it that way, you want to put in good software so that it works properly. So if we break it down like that, it's kind of like that. I don't know why I go into that, but I'm a little bit of a techie. But yes,
Yeah. Your brain is the CEO. Everything we do is based on what our CEO is telling us. It's
yeah,
programmed right here and this part of our
exactly.
brain, so prefrontal cortex. So yes, so explain to our beautiful audience what is a bad relationship with food, because some people might
Yeah,
be like, I don't know about you, but I really enjoy my ice cream and I really enjoy this and I enjoy that. So what is a bad
Yeah.
relationship with food?
Well, there's it's not really bad or good. It's more of an imbalance in the relationship. We want more balance in our lives, right? And you don't want one dominating the other. And what it is brain to belly would balance things out a little bit more so you have the knowledge to know and the awareness to know what you put in your body is going to affect the way you feel and the way your belly's going to look after a while. For instance, um, sugar, that's like the big word right now and the big topic right now about not having so much sugar. And the thing with sugar is it's so processed, and especially with white sugar, that it affects our brains so that we can't think. It actually causes almost like a fog in our brain, so we can't think properly. And that affects our judgment. So if we're having too much sugar, we're not going to eat foods that are going to be nutritious for us. We'll instead probably eat more foods with more sugar in it, which are the processed foods. And that's going to be added sugar. And of course, the rise in diabetes from the added sugar is very, very high these days as well. And so, you know, it's really to have a brain that can be aware of what you're putting into your body and really balancing things out so that you don't have that frustration when you're not eating properly. I think yeah, if you eat something that you don't normally eat, for example, let's say you binge on pizza and beer, for example, the next day you're not going to feel that good. You may feel good at the moment, and it may be very, very yummy at the moment, but the next day you're going to feel it, even no matter how old you are. Even if you're 18, oh, I don't know, 18 is not a legal age in the US, but
21.
In Japan, I'm sorry, in
In
Japan it's
Mexico,
18.
18 is the legal age. So
Okay.
Japan,
So let's say you're in your 20s. That'll be easier. Let's say in your 20s and you have, beer and pizza, for instance, right? That when you're eating it and drinking it, that's fine. You're like enjoying it. You're having a great time. But the next
especially if we're
day,
with friends and if we're
yeah,
connecting and like we're really
yeah,
having a great time with our topic and we're planning our future,
yeah,
we're and enjoying having a
yeah.
good time.
And that's okay. And the problem is when that happens more than once a week, or if it's, in succession, right? If
Yeah.
you're doing that every single night, it's going to cause issues with your body. Your brain's not going to think properly. So let's say, for example, if you're in college and you start doing that, the freshman 15, they say, right? A lot of nights doing that could cause that also a lot and eating a lot of the processed foods because your body is not going to be functioning properly with processed foods as well because your body needs nutrients and sugar and processed foods usually don't have the nutrients that your body needs. Sadly, they are yummy and I do admit that they are good. I mean, hey, I love my fries, I love my chocolate. Boy, do I love my chocolate and I love my sweets. And that's but I can't if I had it every day, my body would not function properly. My mind would not function properly because I would be in a brain fog and my mind wouldn't think properly. I wouldn't be able to speak articulately. I wouldn't be able to make better decisions for myself. And that's what it is. Yeah.
Wow. How has been your relationship with food before you came to the discovery of this brain to belly?
Thank you for asking that. Yes, it's really based on personal experience. I had a horrible relationship with food where it really did dominate a lot of my life. As a kid, even as a baby, my mother used to tell me the stories that when she was busy, helping my dad with his business and all this, and, as a baby, you cry for your mom, right? Or you cry for food or whatever. Well, every time I cried, my mom or the nanny or whoever was taking care of me, they would say, "Oh, let's just give her something to eat," or give her the bottle, right?
Yeah.
So that I was eating. So that association with comfort and food became such a strong thing in my brain. And I moved around a lot as a kid as well. So different cultures, Japan and the US, that situation, and, having different friends all the time as well. I got bullied a lot because I didn't look like everyone else. I was a little different. So I turned to food, and that became my friend. And also, that became my enemy, but also I used food to create, I call it my armor of fat. It's like knights wear armor to protect themselves. Well,
Mhm.
I was wearing an armor of made of fat to protect my heart so that I wouldn't feel the hurt that I felt when people teased me or said that I didn't belong. They were like, "You're so different. We don't know what you are," and things like that. So, I was, yeah, and that's where my whole relationship with food became a little strange, let's say. It became really unbalanced. And it took me a long time to learn nutrition, for one thing, because I think I started my first diet probably when I was like 12. And
Very
I know
young.
that's crazy, right? When you think about it now. And because I was teased because of my weight. And in retrospect, yes, I was heavy, but I wasn't obese. But in my mind, I'm like, oh no, no one's gonna accept me because I'm heavy. And all of that, and that was all here, right? And it was also because I didn't learn well. As a kid, if you're not taught to learn to care about yourself, to love yourself for who you are, it's
Mhm.
difficult. And then you start thinking these unproductive thoughts about yourself, and you start believing those thoughts. And that's where a lot of it started. Then I started learning about nutrition, health. I did my crazy diets of the day, whatever was the diet of the day, I was doing it. I did most of it. Um, I did crazy cleanses and all of that, and nothing really worked.
Nothing. Okay, so when was the time that your psychology shift to be like, okay, wait a minute.
Yeah.
It's like this is comforting for me and it's not really serving me. When was that time? What happened in your life for you to tilt your psychology?
Okay, I actually suffered a eating disorder because of all of that. And I actually had what's called I was an exercise bulimic, meaning I binged on food and then I used exercise to purge it. I would exercise for like 3, 4 hours a day, which right now I think about as like, what was I thinking, right? Well, obviously I wasn't thinking, right? Because of the foods I was eating also.
So let's have a break for just a second for our beautiful audience that are listening to us. So this is an example of a bad relationship with food. Whenever you're eating, without stop, without connecting your brain with your belly.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
just like, I'm just, it's like you're eating your comfort because you want to be comfort. That's what I'm
yeah,
interpreting from your
yeah,
story. And then you're like, it's okay, I'm just gonna work out for 5 hours and then I'm going to burn those calories, and it's like not a big
exactly.
deal. Guilt is out of the way.
Yeah,
I
but
mean, man,
it's
5 hours a day. Tell us about it. There could be
it was
someone in the
crazy.
audience that might be going through this and they don't know that they're having a bad relationship with
Yeah,
food.
because if you're feeling any stress when you have to think about what you're going to eat, because my days were filled. I mean, all I thought about was what was I going to eat? And wanted to eat the things that they said I'm not supposed to eat, like the chocolate and all the wine, whatever, right? Or we go out to dinner to a nice restaurant and I want that. And then I'm like, okay, how many hours am I going to have to work out to purge that? And it was a crazy, crazy cycle. And I was feeling like that's all I thought about. Eat and purge, eat and purge. Instead of throwing up because I couldn't throw up, because I couldn't do that, I exercised. And what happened was I actually hurt myself because I was exercising so much and I was so exhausted, right?
Wow.
And that's when I came to the realization that I really have a problem here. Um, it took me, I kind of had an inkling that this wasn't good for me and whatever, but I was like, well, it's not like I'm throwing up, that was the thinking.
Yeah.
And working out is, healthy for me. Well, not when you're doing it excessively to the point that you hurt yourself. So that made me realize that I really have to do something. And I think the first thing was awareness and acknowledgement of the issue at hand. And
Accepting it. I
yeah,
bet that was tough. Tell
oh,
us about it.
it was a tough time, very tough. I had to accept it myself before I could tell anyone that I needed help with it. And at the time, I would be going on the internet because at the time the internet was very, very new. So, it was like going on different boards, looking for boards that talked about eating disorders, and I would read about someone's experience, and I'm like, oh, that's me, and I'm not the only one that's doing this. And then they were saying that, this place or that place, or reach out to these type of people. And that's how I really started to reach out to different people and get the professional help that I needed. And because of that experience, and then really learning and refining all of the tools that I learned there, also the tools that I learned through this one weight loss company that I used to work for, and which is a pretty big company, and they speak about health and community. And Brain to Belly came from all my experiences from that to build a community where people could support each other and care for each other and also share knowledge and experience. Because I don't want anyone feeling the way I did, all alone. And I mean, it's not, well, think about it. When you think about it, going on the internet to find out who I can commiserate, who can understand my pain, So, and there weren't that many places to go at the time. Let me tell you, the internet was not like, we didn't have Google. It wasn't. It was still when those
Yahoo.
internet. Yeah, yeah, it was that, and I think the internet made that crazy sound when you were logging in.
Dialing
Yes,
internet.
yes, yes, yes. So, it was a crazy time, but I did get the help that I needed, and it was like you saying, the acceptance,
How,
accepting. Yeah,
yeah. What a blessing though, that you chose to accept, okay, I do have a problem,
yeah,
and you look for the solution. What is
yes,
it going to, heal this process? How am I going to
yeah.
tilt that psychology? So how long did that process last? For anyone out here that might be wondering, okay, I might be one of them that's having a bad relationship with food. I'm one of, like Yayoi. I am going through the same situation. I'm working out too many hours a day because I feel guilty when I eat.
Yeah. I think, you know, it's fast once you accept it. Once once you accept that you have a problem and you want to get help for it and reach out to people that are going to support you without judgment, that's when you're going to be able to heal, because finding that group is so important. I think finding that community that will give you that support without judgment, without more pain, because you're already in a lot of pain,
Yeah.
and you need people that are going to understand what that pain is and can help to gently, you know, move you along to the right path, to the path that's going to heal you. Because, yes, once I started that, it was working on healing myself. And through, and it's only recently through the Neuroencoding Institute when I learned about brain to health and about rewiring your brain and how important your brain is to your whole body, to your whole system, to your heart, to your soul, to your spirit, as well as your body, right? Um, when I learned that, it really accelerated everything and everything just kind of came together. And I wasn't struggling, but it's like so much easier now. It's I listen to my body. I listen to when it is hungry. I eat only when I'm hungry, not when there are times, of course, when depending on work schedules and things like that, I'll have to eat when I don't really, I'm not that hungry, but I should eat because I need to last. But then I know how to make better choices. So the relationship is more equal in that I have control. I know what I'm doing. The food is going to cooperate with me as well. So, for instance, if I know that I'm not going to be able to eat for 4 to 5 hours or 6 hours, let's say, I'll say, let me have a little extra protein, so that I could feel more satisfied, so I won't go as hungry. And learning things like that, these little tricks, and knowing to understand yourself. And Brain to Belly is also about learning to accept yourself as who you are and to learn about yourself, to know your habits, your likes. If you're, for instance, there are people that are what's called mismatchers. If you tell them one thing, they'll want to do the opposite. And I was kind of
Who
like
are
that.
you to tell me what to do?
I was kind of like that in that, that kind of made created some issues for me when I was on these different diet plans because they were like restricting me. So I'm like, who are you to tell me this and that? I don't know if this is going to work, blah blah blah. So my urge is to do something that they tell me not to do. And so it's learning things about that, learning
Okay,
to, yeah, different things about yourself.
I have a question as a sister.
Yes,
Okay, so here we go for our beautiful audience, because we both of you know that our core psychology really matters,
yes,
and it's about what you think about you truly matters.
yes,
What you think about others and what you think about the world.
yes,
So now that you have healed from that trauma, your childhood trauma, that you traveled from country to country, uh, that you came to like you went to different countries, and I relate to you in a way, because people don't know what they're doing. Those people that rejected you, those people that, talk to you in a bad way, that caused you to become, to have that relationship with food because you wanted that connection so bad.
yeah,
You
yep.
were away from home. It's like, what do you tell our beautiful audience that have a lot of resentment, that, that they think of others the worst? Like, how was your healing process, and what would you tell someone that is having a hard time on that piece of their psychology, what they think about themselves and what they're thinking about others who are hurting them?
You know, it's tough because there were times when I wasn't let's just say I wasn't liking the people that were hurting me, and I was like, revenge, revenge, right? There were times
Yeah,
when I did
you're
think that.
hurt. Yeah, you were hurt.
Oh, yeah, because I want to hurt them back. And at one point, I did hurt them back on purpose because as a kid, you do things like that, right? And
As an adult
y-
too.
yeah, yeah, you do. But at the end of the day, after I did that, I didn't feel any better. I didn't feel better about myself. And then because I know how it feels when I hurt, I felt really hurt. So I was a really good bully, let's just say. I was because I knew what to say or what to do to make somebody really hurt because I was hurt all the time. But that didn't achieve anything. It just created more hurt between people, created more friction, and I didn't feel any better about myself. I still had to deal with the food. I had to still um have food be my friend. It's like the food was my teddy bear, right? Kind of like. Um, So it didn't help me any. So I started realizing you can't keep on doing this. I can't keep on doing this. What do I need to do? And of course, I had great mentors that taught me to start looking inward, start looking at myself, and start to love myself. And that was one of the hardest lessons I had to go through, because we're not taught, I think, even as children, to truly love ourselves. We're told to love our parents, love our family, love our neighbors, right? But we're not told love yourself first and foremost.
Or accept
Be-
yourself, at least, right?
Yeah,
Accept the skin color that you have, the
yeah,
shape of
yeah,
teeth that you have,
yeah,
your hair. You're beautiful the way God created you. Like I
exactly.
say, God, your
Yes,
creator,
yes,
created you.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And we take it for granted because we don't know any better. Also, we're ignorant to that until we take things for granted until something's taken away. For instance, like, you know, you don't pay attention to your teeth until you start getting a toothache. And then you start thinking, oh, I should have taken better care of my teeth, right? Or I should have brushed more, I should have flossed better, things like that. And I think it's the same with our bodies and our health, that when you don't take care of it, we take it for granted that it's always going to be there, but it's not necessarily always going to be there. And we're only given this one set right now. And teeth, skin, and your skin is like the biggest organ we have that we have to take care of. So, putting sunscreen on. I know I used to hate putting sunscreen on every day, but I've learned that you have to take care of yourself, and because no one else is going to take care of you. And that's self-love, self-care. And it's a lot of work, but you know what? If you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of anyone else. And I always say the oxygen mask story. It's been said so many times, but it's so true. When you're on a plane, they say that.
Yeah, and it is because you chose to heal,
Yes,
right? You
yes,
chose to change that psychology about you and
yeah,
begin to accept who you are. You say, yes, I have this problem. Yes, I know, it is within me to get better, you
yes,
know, with this relationship with food. And look at you now. Because of it, now you're sharing your story with joy and
yes,
lots
I
of love,
am.
because you don't want other little girls to go through that, have to depend on food to feel connected, to feel the love, to feel the comfort.
Yeah, no, I don't want that. I really want to be able to, if I can give them a shortcut to finding the
Yeah.
happiness, to
Oh,
finding
yeah.
that peace, I'd rather have them get that because it's not fun.
And
And
right now, Yayoi, is like with social media, imagine these beautiful girls that are beautiful, but they begin to see other uh, attributes,
yeah,
on other girls, but because they don't accept themselves, they, oh, I want that and I
yeah,
want that. But I'm like, oh, but you're already beautiful. You know what I mean? It's
yeah,
like, yeah, the one that you are looking at is also beautiful, but if you begin to see the gifts within you, here we
yes,
go back, core of your psychology about
yes,
you.
the beliefs, yeah. And I think it also helps to have a support system, family, or, people around you that love you and really tell you that you are beautiful the way you are, because that reinforcement is important. And I think for little girls and little boys everywhere, or just anyone, being seen and heard is so important. And to tell them that you are loved and to give them that security or that safe space for them to be who they are is so important. And these days, it's so difficult to find that. And my hope is that people could find that space in families or whatever, it doesn't have to be your real family. It could be like your created family, the family that you create around you to care for you, to nurture you, because everyone should be loved and nurtured,
Yeah.
and And that's what I want with the Brain to
Do it with
Belly too.
love. We should, like the majority of the population, now that you say that, in the world are good.
Yes,
And we tend to do the right thing. But through this life and learning, in my very personal opinion, is like learning to, like, okay, the praying and the training never ends. So the
yes,
more I'm in this praying and training business, I figure out that it's like, hey, you're doing the right thing, but it's like, do it with love.
yes,
Then it's like adding the next topping to your activity. That's why you're inviting us today, is like share your love with other
yeah.
people.
Oh yeah.
uh,
Because that's like the extra sauce, the special sauce that you could say, or the magic sprinkles or whatever. Because when you do something with the intention of love, it really makes a difference to the other person. It makes a difference in your own heart, and you create that. Everything is energy, right? And so the love that I'm projecting out, the energy that I'm projecting, can be felt by the people that are with me and that I am sending it to. And I hope that they would be able to feel it, to understand that it's okay to be who you are and to love yourself for who you are.
it's
And
okay
to,
not to be
yeah,
okay, just like you and
yeah,
I have been sometimes. But
yes,
here you are, here tonight, to invite all the beautiful audience tonight who are needing information about Brain to Belly. Like, you're
yes,
sharing your story, you're inviting them to your Facebook uh,
yeah,
group. So you guys are not alone. And
yeah,
and there are resources out there, there is tools out there that will help you to heal. And once you heal, then you'll begin, to really shift that psychology
yeah,
and express that love for your
yeah,
community.
yeah. And yeah, once you're healed, I mean, you're always going to be healing, you're always going to be growing. But it's really when you start loving yourself and loving others, I think it makes a huge difference in how we go through our life. And then you'll start realizing what you want out of your life, what you truly want out of your life. And also start realizing that, life is really precious. We're all of us that are here are, given this life, and we're privileged to be living what we're living. Yeah, there are times when it's, really rough and you really don't want to go through a lot of stuff, but pushing through and finding the joy, finding the people that are going to accept you and love you, that is joy. Finding the communities that are going to embrace you is joy. And, life should be about joy and laughter. So,
Yes, learning to laugh more. And our kids teach us. Your probably nieces and nephews teach you to laugh and bring more joy to your life, for sure.
yes, yes,
So let's
definitely.
dive really quick into, how can we cultivate a positive relationship with food in our bodies?
It's really starting up here and starting with a love for yourself and caring about yourself. When you can start caring about you and who you are, what do I want? Not what my parents want, not what the teacher wants, not what my best friend wants, but what do I want? What is important to me? When you can figure that out and start working towards gaining what you really want and shifting, getting the knowledge that you need so that you can get what you want, you know, and so that you can function. You can have a healthy body to do the things you want to do. Like, I still want to explore. Okay, yes, I just turned 60. Okay, I'm telling the whole world. I just turned 60 last year. Yes,
Yes.
and I probably only have 50 years at the most, right? I mean, with the technology and medicine that we have right now, it could change, but for now. And when I think about that, there's so much more I want to do. There's so much more I want to explore. There's so many more relationships that I want to cultivate. There's so many more books. There's so many more. Um, God, there's so much more to life, right? There's so much that I want to see. I still want to
She
see
wants
so
to
much.
go to space.
Yeah, I do want to go to space. I mean, I really want to go to space. Okay, I have that. Yeah, I do. And that's one thing I want to do. Also, I want to, go visit all these places that I never had a chance to visit, that like monuments, or like in Spain, I want to go to Granada to see all the architecture, the Barcelona to see the beautiful architecture, go to Egypt to see the pyramids. I didn't get a chance to do that yet,
Your knees have to be in shape because you walk, right? I
Oh,
hear that you walk and you walk and you walk and you walk.
yeah.
So
Yeah. And you really, I mean, have to have good knees, stay healthy, and it's really about staying healthy so that you have a body, that's going to keep you to take you to all these places. And it's not like, some sci-fi story where you could just switch bodies and have a healthier body so you can, go do this, or if your body expires, you just get a newer body. It's not like that. I wish it were, but it's not like that. This is what we have. So you got to make the best of it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
So how can we navigate with
mm,
food craving and
ah,
emotional eating, in a healthy way? How do you navigate through these cravings and, and I mean, emotionally for
emotional
some
eating.
reason?
Yeah.
And women have, we have
Well,
just a bigger limbic system. So we're more,
yeah.
we love more. I think we express more love. But at the same time, it's like when we get
Yeah.
emotional, it's like,
We
give me
do
some
get it.
pizza.
Yeah, and you know what?
Yeah.
It's okay to do that occasionally, like I said. I'm not a saint, I have my pizza occasionally. I have, let's see, what did I just had my fries recently because I really wanted fries, right? And oh, and I had butter recently because I was like, I haven't had butter in a while. I really want real butter. And so, and it's okay occasionally. It's when you start eating it and hiding it that causes that shame so that you hide it more. And it really starts up here. It starts up here. What do you really want? What is this food really going to serve me? I know it's crazy and you're like, why do I have to think about if this food's what this food's going to do for me? But food is also it's also nutrients for your body, and we have to nourish it. Just like we nourish our soul, we have to nourish our bodies too. And food needs to be used for that as well. And you might as well enjoy it while you're having it. So make the best of it, you know?
Yes.
Um, so yes.
And how can we approach eating out, in social situations without compromising our health eating goals?
Okay.
What
Yeah.
advice would you give us?
I say, enjoy, because going out is a treat, right? It's not like you're doing it every single night. Well, I can't afford to do it every single night, right? And it's a treat. Enjoy it, but don't overstuff yourself with it either. But enjoy it and say, okay, you had some things that weren't very, good for your body. Let's say I had a drink, let's say, for instance, I don't usually drink, but if I did, then I'm like, okay, well, that just means that tomorrow and the next day I just have to be a little more careful.
Yeah.
It's about moderation, it's about balance
Yeah.
and not shaming yourself.
And one thing that comes to my mind is, and also
Yeah,
learning about, like, what do you want when you have that peer pressure. Oh, come on, you don't want to eat a hamburger, you order a salad. Are you sure? Are you crazy? It's like, then it's like, here we go. It's just accepting us. It's like,
yes.
this is who I am. I'm choose to be healthy because, in five
Hmm.
years I want to be healthy. It's like, I want
Yeah,
to continue to be healthy. So that's the first thing that comes to my mind.
it's
Peer
hard.
pressure. Peer
Yeah,
pressure. Yes.
it's
Oh,
hard. And I've had that my whole life, basically. I'll be like, I want to eat this. And they go, but shouldn't you be eating a salad? Aren't you on your diet? I got that all the time. And I'm like, yeah,
yeah.
but, I said, sometimes You have to do what's going to psychologically be better for me, not for you. And it's hard to say that. I think it's also with age that I've been able to say, this is who I am. You know, I'm not going to say, you know, this is what I want to do. Let me do what I want to do, what I need to do for me. And until it's hard to do that, but you have to be who you are and be with people. So, if you're younger than 21, be with people that are going to support who you are and love who you are love you for who you really are, not for something that is their ideal or someone else's ideal, because that's never going to work. You're going to struggle. And why should you struggle when you don't have to?
And how many really do they just want to belong? So okay, I'll just have a hamburger because I just, I want to
Yeah,
be part of the pack. Don't
yeah,
don't kick, please don't kick me out. I'll eat as many, like sometimes that is a psychology that people have because they
yes,
want to belong. Because love or the
yes,
connection is a huge need
it
in
is. Yes,
within us. So it's like realizing
yes,
that okay, am I doing it because I want to belong, or am I doing it because I want to be true to myself?
yeah. And
The
sometimes,
authenticity, you have the
yeah,
opportunity to step into your authenticity, but
yeah.
sometimes we're like, forget about my authenticity, just love me.
Yeah, sometimes it's okay, and that's okay. You learn from those experiences. Each experience, you learn something, right? Like sometimes it's easier to say, okay, I just want to be loved. I don't want to fight this anymore. I'm just going to have them accept me, by eating whatever they give me, right? Like, the grandmother that pushes food onto you, you want, sorry, you want to eat it because you want to be accepted by them, but you don't really want to eat it, but you do. And sometimes you just gotta, you have to do things that you really don't want to do. And that's okay. You have to do that. That's part of life, unfortunately. And it's part of growing up. And each experience, you're going to learn how to navigate. So, you keep on stacking those experiences until you can finally say, no, this is who I am. And I'm really happy with who I am.
Share with us a story like that for any of our beautiful audience that are still like, what are you talking about? Like, did you ever felt peer pressure and you gave in just because you wanted to just be a
Oh,
part of
yeah.
the pack?
Oh, yeah. Lots of times. I mean, I, I went to an all girls Catholic school. So figure, you can imagine, right? And I did things, or I would eat things because everyone else was eating it. I didn't personally like it, but I did it because I wanted them to accept me. But at the end of the day, I didn't like myself. And that, I think that's where it went down to, is that did I like myself at the end of the day? Not really. I was like, and then I would shame myself for not being who I am, to being my authentic self, right? And I'm like, well, what did I gain from doing what I really didn't want to do? Or like, doing something, yeah, like even if it was like smoking a cigarette when you weren't supposed to, right? You know, I did that at first because I wanted to fit in, but that wasn't really serving me, you know. Yeah, I fit in for a little bit, but the damage that it does to your body, um, or eating something, let's say you're diabetic and you eat, let's say because of peer pressure, you have a piece of cake or cookie that you really shouldn't be eating for your health because it's going to spike everything up. If you have that, what's the consequence? Well, if you're a diabetic, it's going to affect your health and you will maybe pass out, right? It may not be that serious, but you may feel like, why did I do that? Was that really my decision? And was it worth making that decision based on wanting to be liked? Because, yes, I mean, at the end of the day, we all want to be loved. So it's really communicating with the people that are closest to us and having them understand that, this is who I am. Love me for who I am as well, right? Um,
Yeah.
and and really accept. Yeah, I think it's really about communicating our feelings and finding that one person maybe that you can really, really talk to, because even having one person that you can communicate with, that you could talk to, will make a huge difference in your life. Even it doesn't have to be a blood relative, it could be a good friend. Um, and I've had my betrayals and backstabbing and all that, so I know, but and sometimes it happens, despite whatever.
Yes. How do we go from the holiday mood to a disciplined mood? Do you have any advice or strategies?
Well, the
Oh,
holidays are only a part of the year, right?
yeah,
And a holiday is actually only one day, to be honest with you. Or
you're
it
so
could be,
right.
or it could be a week, maybe. Like during Christmas, you could get Hanukkah and Christmas together and New Year's. But, there are only certain times of the year. There are only certain days that you're going to go to a party, or certain day that it's not like every single day that you're going to go. So the times that you're not going to go, one of the strategies that I use is that, okay, I decide what I'm going to have when I get there. I look and say, okay, is that worth it? Is it going to be worth eating that, right? Do I really want to eat that? And sometimes, you want to eat something because you feel bad that you're going to, offend somebody. Okay, so have a little piece. You can just leave it on your plate. Just have a little piece and say, I'm really full. That was delicious. That's really full. And it's also the rest of the time, just be true to you, not to anyone else or not to the holiday foods. And when in this day and age, you can pretty much get holiday foods all year round. So you can't have the excuse, this is the only time I could eat it. Like pumpkin pie is available all year long
Well, that is
if you
so
really
true.
want.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you so much for being here with us today. For
Thank you.
like sharing your story, because I think whenever we share our stories, we're not the only ones. There's always someone else, a couple more people out there that needs to hear your story so that they can see the transformation and that there is possible for them to turn their life around, and in that area that they're struggling. So thank you. I so appreciate you for spending your time with us today.
Thank you, Paola. Yeah,
Uh,
I'm very grateful.
where can we find you? Like people right here that wants to learn more about Brain to Belly, want to learn more about your
Yep.
story. Where can they
You
find
can look me up with my name, which is right here, or you can look up Brain to Belly on Facebook, and I will be there. You'll see this face and this logo, and you can't miss it.
you?
And reach out to me. I will put, yeah, I mean, I think there'll be some information here as well, but yes,
Yeah.
definitely reach out.
She loves superheroes. She loves to dress up whenever is that time. She's fun. Yayoi is very fun to get to know and to learn from her. So I just love you. I love you so much, and
Oh, thank you.
I enjoy every time we have the opportunity to spend time together. Did you have any last minute advice for our beautiful audience tonight?
Just love yourself the best you can and start small, baby steps. Thank
Baby
you.
steps. Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you all very much for joining us tonight. We have more than 3 million, like viewers watching us, and I mean, I'm so happy. I'm so appreciative of your time for being here. Just thank you of all the beautiful audience that tuned in
Thank you.
tonight. Very grateful for adding up. So this show can also be heard. You can go to my YouTube channel, Paola Guthrie, but you can also go to Spanglish Radio Network. You can check out all this news and programming, SpanglishWorld.ca. Spanglish World. Watch it, hear it, read it, download it, and live it. Blessings to you all, and we'll see you soon. Yay!